All over the globe, there is an explosion of really exciting sustainability stories that are just waiting to be told. And today, here in Brisbane, Australia, we're about to meet a young couple who are doing exactly that, all with the help of a very unique small home. Hey Stu.
Hey, how you going?
Good to meet you, mate.
Yeah, you too.
Hey Kylie, how are you?
Hi Bryce.
Lovely
Hi.
to meet you. Guys, VW, it does not get any more classic than a VW camper, does it?
Yeah, this is our dream. We spent a while looking for it and we're pretty pleased with where we are now.
Yep.
What was it that actually made you want to live in a VW?
It wasn't necessarily just the VW, it was the whole van on tour and travel and meeting people, but the VW has a special sort of character. There's something, its own little community which has really been pretty supportive and nice people to meet.
So it wasn't just because you absolutely love spending time with mechanics?
No, not so much.
No.
But it does come with it.
We are trying to pick up a
bonus.
few more things now. We have the ultimate book, which is called How to Keep Your VW Alive, and apparently that's what every VW owner needs to have. So we've been trying to read that in our spare time.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's great. We haven't really had any problems. We did have one problem where a weird noise started to come about, and we talked to our mechanic and he was like, oh, it could be this and that. See if it stops, and we did, and it pinged out the back. And we were like, no, we lost something. We lost something on the road, and we called our mechanic and he was like, oh, that sounds like this. That's a non-essential part. So now we're understanding what is essential and non-essential to keep your vehicle going.
I'm glad that at least you feel comforted by that.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
You learn how to live with these things. You know, a different way of life.
Yeah.
Choosing a VW over a regular van, that's a big decision to make, especially when it's your home, because they can be a little bit more mechanically tetchy, and they're also quite a bit more expensive to purchase right off the bat, aren't they?
Yeah, so that took a big chunk out of our savings and our travel money and the sort of longer thing that we're doing, and it's meant we've had to adjust our trip a little bit. We've got to weave in a lot more work to sort of recoup.
But ultimately, I guess we thought it was really important because what we are doing is more, travel with purpose. So to have a bit of an iconic vehicle is really cool because everyone wants to come around and have a chat and see what you're doing. So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So you've called your project the Bees Republic. Tell me about what you're doing on the road.
The name itself means all the little people doing their own little thing, working for a bigger, better future. And the idea is we're on this road to sustainable living. So we're making our changes, but we also want to meet people that are making their changes as well. They've been doing it for years, like here on Mount Cotton Farm, or people that have just made their own little changes. We want to learn ourselves how to live more sustainably, and then hopefully spread that knowledge as we travel around Australia for the next however long it is.
Yeah, so we've been capturing our journey, the things that we've been learning. So been going to lots of farms like this, which is cool because you can get your hands dirty, get right in there. We've been learning lots of things like how to grow your own food, of course. But then some of the other places that we've been going to learn other stuff.
So how long have you actually been living in the van now?
6 months. I think it is. So yeah, we picked up the Kombi after 3 months of looking for the right one. But yeah, we got this girl, which we love. So yeah, this is our girl, Wilhelmina Sage.
That's it.
So where does the name come from?
Oh, there's a fun story behind that one. So the colour code of the bus is sage green. And when I was talking to my friend, she said, why don't you name her Sage? That's such a gorgeous name. And actually, it happens to also be the archetype of wisdom, but wisdom that is captured through experience and learning and sharing out to other people. So we're like, Sage feels cool, but it actually didn't really feel fun enough. So as to Stu's request, he's like, let's get something fun in German. And because she's a Westie, we thought Wilhelmina. It's also a German name, nice and fun. And then it was only actually after naming her Wilhelmina Sage, we looked up what Wilhelmina meant, and it means willing to protect, which has also just felt perfect considering we're on this journey of, how to live with less impact, to protect the environment, and, and all that just felt right. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool.
And so she's a pop top as well. That's got to be nice.
That was something that was sort of on our list. One of the few things. It was a pretty short list. A pop top, somewhere to sleep, gives you a bit more headspace, means you can stand in there.
Can we take a look inside and see what you've done?
Yeah, come on
please.
All right. You have done such a great job on this conversion, and no problems for me standing up in here, which is a great sign.
Yeah.
Had you in mind when we did it. No, that's the beauty of a pop top, is that you can just stand up, enjoy, do whatever you need to on the counter, and yeah, it just means it's all a little bit easier.
Yeah, and the Westies have the tallest top of all of the camper conversions, which is
Of
cool.
all the vans in the land.
And all the vans. And also the only one where you probably dare sleep up there. So we generally sleep up the top there. And what you can do is fold that over and then, yeah, just jump on up there, which is quite cool.
So you've been living in this van now for 6 months.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Cozy.
It's cozy, it's nice. The freedom is really the best thing. Being able to be where you want, whether we're working on a website or whatever we're doing, or on a farm, or just taking some time out, you know, going to a park, a national park or whatever. The freedom is the best part of it. And you sort of inherently, as part of that, downsize a lot. You have to shed a lot because you can only get so much in. And to the point where now that we've rebuilt the interior, we've built all the storage and we don't really know what to put in it.
So the camper did have some furniture in it to start with. So it was sort of this setup. It had this size cabinetry here, and then it had a swing arm table where Stu's sitting here, and it worked okay. It had like a 3-way fridge, and it had a pump where you could do your washing up, but it was like so powerful that you'd turn it on, it would just go everywhere. So basically it wasn't really fitting the needs that we needed, which is what brought upon doing this conversion, so we could get some extra storage and just sort of make it fit how we needed to live, so we could live in it better long term.
So what was the process of converting it like for you?
So we went through a bit of sort of brainstorming, some design, and sort of ideas were sort of bounced around. We decided early on, part of our sustainable journey, we're only going to use, or where possible, recycled materials, reclaimed materials. So this is all pallet wood, there's a reclaimed floor. The only new bits are really most of the metal hinges, although all our little latches and doorknobs and things, they're all sort of op shops, charity shops, that sort of thing. And so it's meant that the budget has really been kept low, but we've just had to put a little bit extra effort to make that wonky bit of wood go to that wonky bit of wood.
We've done a lot of like flipping of wood actually, because each piece seems to look a bit different. So like the floor, for example, we spent quite a bit of time, you know, so the process with that is we got these, they were really dirty and dusty and like covered in paint, and so we sanded those back, but it was a bit of a, you know, tinkering around with like, well, how much sanding, how much paint do we want to have, and then we ended up kind of like flipping over some and having a bit more of the timber feel, and eventually we got a pattern that we quite liked. So yeah, you kind of have the freedom to make it into what you want to.
So you mentioned before that it actually had a sink and a water pump and all of that sort of thing, and I noticed that you've taken it out of this design. So how's that all working now?
We spent, when we first bought the van, we spent a few months just in it as it was, to see how we used it. And we just wanted to simplify as well.
And get some nice bench space, which is really great for cooking, because we do love cooking, especially when you come to places like this and you get access to such great produce. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of bench space before, because almost half of it was taken up by this obnoxious sink. So now we have a nice big bench space, and what's really nice is we cook outside, I guess just because it's nicer and we have the luxury of, you know, generally pretty good weather here. So yeah, so we cook outside and then we just clean outside as well.
So the old swing table, it's missing now. What have you done with that?
So there was originally one here, and it was actually quite useful, but the only problem is when this sofa sort of comes out and it opens to about here, which means the table has to go somewhere and you just have to put that around. So we sort of, as we were rebuilding everything, we've just made it sort of slip under the sofa now. So now it's out of the way when we're driving, or the bed's out or whatever. And then when we want it, it can be out, and when we don't, it's not.
And it really is great how you've managed to fit the fridge in there as well, because it looks like it just squeezes in between those two seats.
Isn't it perfect? Yeah, we did like quite a bit of shopping around and sort of see what would be the right space for us, and yeah, the CFX 28 is the perfect Waco size for us.
It's also sort of, we was looking for something that was going to be energy efficient to sort of tie in. We're only going to have a small battery we can fit in the back, we've got the solar panel, so there's only so much drawer we can have, so this kind of fits in with all those boxes, all ticked.
So what size battery are you using in here, and how big is your solar panel?
The solar panel is a 120 watt. The battery, I think, is 80 amp hour.
And does that charge off your alternator as well?
Yeah, so we've got a cranking battery and a house battery, and they've got a solenoid that will separate them when there's no charge going, and then the solar comes into the house.
One of the things that I really like what you've done as well is this herb planter box. It really just brings such an element of home into a vehicle, doesn't it, when you can actually have plants there?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we love it too.
Yeah, that was something that you were pretty keen on, to get some sort of greenery. We got the little hanging plant in there as well, as well as the planter box. And we can take that out and set that up if it's too hot or whatever, we want to put in the shade, or we're just going to be somewhere for a while. We can take the plants out and
get some water and some sunshine. But yeah, so I mentioned that we like cooking, so we love cooking with lots of herbs as well. So if we can have herbs with us on the road, that was one of the key motivations behind that, and it just brings a bit of nice greenery.
Very nice addition indeed. And then what do we have behind us here?
So at the top we've got a dedication, another sort of Kylie request.
A tribute.
To the old Westies. They would have had a shelf at the back with little curved bits. The cupboard at the side was Instagram inspired. Somebody was using these ropes. I think they're probably pretty common on boats, but we're not from the boat world, so it was pretty new and exciting to us.
Because I guess, with the tiny houses, of course, finding really nifty ways of doing storage is important, but when you have a tiny house on wheels, it's even more important because it not only needs to be small, but it needs to be, not be able to move around. So yeah, we found some really nice ideas. And the rope was one of them.
So what do you think the future holds for you now?
Hopefully all kinds of things. So we'll be, our next spot is going to be on a permaculture farm just sort of by Mullumbimby. We'll be there for a while. We're keen to learn about the permaculture, but there's a real interesting community in that sort of northern New South Wales that are big on sustainability and all sorts of businesses and people operating in that sphere.
So yeah, farming and learning about food is a really big part of our journey, but we really want to in the future be able to spend more time, maybe it's about volunteering in conservation projects, or going and looking at businesses who are doing things in a more sustainable way, being able to learn from them. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, we've got like a nice big map now which we're building out, which is great.
So it sounds like it's no problem at all actually finding places to park the van and places for you to stay.
Oh yeah,
it's a mix, I think, actually. There's lots of people to go to, but if you sort of want to go your own way and find your own spot, you just need to be sort of aware of what the rules are, where you can and can't be. It's nothing too complicated, but it's just something to think about as you're rolling around.
Well, yeah, again, that community around the van life community is really great. So you can get lots of people with their advice of like where they've been to, and because everyone's trying to travel and live also lower cost as well.
So speaking about costs then, what was the actual cost of the van and then of the conversion as well?
That came in at 18,000, and then the build we haven't finished sort of totting up. There's still a couple of little bits we want to tweak on it, but I would put a hazard a guess, maybe 500, not a lot more. That's not including the solar panel. That would probably
that's on top.
Double that budget.
But all of the wood that you see, has been like super lower cost because we got them recycled, or of course most pallet wood is free. So again, the concept of like trying to use what we could get to keep our costs down because the actual vehicle cost us so much. But that really was a choice. We spoke earlier about the why, the Kombi. So it was important for us to have the van, and then we can continue to build upon that as we earn more money as we go along.
So what about the cost of living as you're traveling on the road in the van?
Yeah, well, the cost of living has actually been quite low, mostly because of the way that we have been travelling. So we don't constantly go from like destination to destination. Again, this is a travel with purpose project. So we're finding that a really important part of that sort of responsible travel journey is to spend time in the communities that we go through and see how we can give back to them. So we've been woofing, which means, so we stay on a property, they'll give us a space to park our van, and then we give some time back to the farm. So we will, work to say for a half a day, and then we get our food provided, and then of course any accommodation that we have as well. So that's meant that actually we can travel quite low cost, and to be honest, don't really spend any money sometimes unless we go off the farm and go out for a beer.
Which is just a necessity.
Of course, especially in the Aussie heat.
You've always got a beer pot. But so the cost of living has actually been quite low, which is really nice.
I think what you're doing here is such an incredible project. I think you've definitely taken a very unique twist on van life by exploring all of these incredible sustainable communities. And there is no question in my mind that this is also super relevant nowadays, and you're doing some really important work for the world. So thank you so much for
very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. With the popularity of the van life movement absolutely exploding, it's really obvious why people are choosing this way of life. But this couple has taken the van life concept but given it a really unique twist by adding this whole factor of exploring sustainable communities and new paradigm living. And I think we can all agree that that is definitely a very worthwhile cause.